everybody, welcome back. My name is Cassie. I am the Evil Secret Ninja, and I talk about books and review books on my channel. And today I am doing my reading goals for 2022. So the biggest thing for me in 2022 is that I am going to be doing some extra work. I'm going to be picking up some extra clients, so I'll probably have less time to read. So I'm not hoping to read 324 books or however many books I read in 2021. I think I'm at 324. And I also read 320 something last year. I'm actually okay with not reading that many books. You know, if I try to keep it more reasonable. So in my TBRs, I try to do read. There's usually 11 books on my TBR every month. And I think if I just get through those 11, then that would be good for me. So that would be 132 books. And of course, right now I don't know. I might end up reading more. I wouldn't think that I would read less. I think I can get through those 10 those 11 every month. But other than that, my goal is just to read those 11 every month. For me, I'm actually excited to get some more clients and to do some more therapy, because that's one of my absolute passions. I love my work. I love helping people and stuff like that. So I'm excited for this change to come up. Really, who needs to read a book a day? I don't. People do it, but I think it's not going to work for me in 2022. So I've been thinking about the types of books that I want to read in 2022. This year I read a lot of fantasy, and I think some of the other genres that I typically read got a little neglected. I did read some good classics. I read some, I think my biggest disappointment was the nonfiction books that I read this year. Some of them were great, but a lot of them were just kind of okay. I thought like maybe I want to have a little bit more variety in what I'm reading this year. So obviously I still have fantasy. I'm still going to read plenty of fantasy, and I'm going to try to do like two fantasy books per month. And I think that's like kind of a good amount to have in there. I also want to do some more science fiction, because I've read more science fiction this year than I think I ever have, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Even some that were just that were either like free audiobooks or they had on Amazon Prime reading that you could read for free. I was like, you know what, these are kind of fun. So I'm going to continue to read science fiction, and I'll probably pick up at least one science fiction a month. And I'm going to read 2 nonfiction per month at least. One of them would be the nonfiction that I have as my professional reading at work, and then another one which would be nonfiction, which would be of my choice. Not that I'm a nerd or anything, but sometimes I like to learn about cool stuff. In 2021, a lot of my books were pretty big, so I read some really long books. I'll probably still read long books, but I'll probably limit it to maybe 1 or 2 a month that are over 500 pages or so, and then have some that are a lot shorter. So I would like to read some shorter books, just so that I make sure that I get through them every month, which I'm concerned about how all that's going to go. But I think it'll be fine. I obviously want to read some classics. I want to read some contemporaries. You know, I still need to read the newest Frederick Bachman books. And I also really like historical fiction. I feel like that kind of got a little bit neglected this year because I read so much fantasy. And I also want to find some good mystery thrillers that, sadly, the ones that I read last year were, the last few that I've read have just been kind of, okay. So I'm excited to kind of get into those things. I also want to read a little bit more horror. Believe it or not, like, I just picked up Stephen King for the first time, like, in 2020. That's saying a lot. And I don't even have a good reason. And I've enjoyed his writings. So I'm going to read some Stephen King and even look for some other horror authors, because I find like it's quite an interesting genre that I actually used to read quite a bit. I used to read a lot of Dean Koontz, which I know weird. Like I read John Saul, I read Dean Koontz, but I did not read Stephen King. It doesn't make sense. There's reasons for that. So I want to kind of expand and read some different genres. Obviously, I'll still be reading YA. I'll still be reading adult fiction. I'll probably bring in some middle grade. I actually really enjoy middle grade if it's done well. Sometimes it's not. Don't get me wrong. I know that. Sometimes it is done really well. And when it is, I really enjoy it. You know, Harry Potter, Fablehaven, 11 Thumbs, those kind of things are kind of some of my favorites. So I'm hoping to find some, but I will be picking up some middle grade. So I want to have like more variety in 2022 than I did this year, I think. And it's not that I don't still love fantasy. I absolutely love fantasy. I think it's probably my favorite genre. I don't want to just read fantasy because I love reading all sorts of things. And, when reading nonfiction, I find all sorts of cool things in there that I think are awesome. And I kind of miss that because a lot of the nonfiction I've read this year has been okay. So my goal is, for right now at least, to try and keep doing the 4 videos a week. Obviously, I'll always have my weekly reading update. Definitely going to have some book reviews, probably at least one a week. I'll still have my unboxings for Owlcrate and Unplugged Book Box. Obviously the ones that you do every month where you have your TBRs, your monthly wrap-ups. So I guess if I'm not reading 20, 30 books a month, my monthly wrap-up might not be as long, or maybe I'll be able to talk a little bit more about the books that I read in the month than feel like I have to just rush through it. Anything else that obviously comes to mind, we'll do some book recommendations, maybe some book tags, all the things that we'll do on BookTube. That is my plan, that I do plan to continue that. I also typically sign up for reading challenges with regard to on Goodreads, and I will plan to do those as well. And they're typically just, and I've noticed that some of them haven't posted their 2022 challenges yet. So just like the ones that I have is, I'll do the Pop Sugar challenge, which is 50 books, and they have prompts for all of those. So I will be doing that. And then I will there's one where it's like clear the shelves, where you try to read as many books as you can that you bought last year or before. So trying to get through some of my book purchases from the past. There was also one that I found that was like a diversity in reading, where you try to read books written by authors that are different than you. And I thought that would be fun to do. There's certainly several authors that I like that are different than me. And then the serial reader, which is just where you keep track of like the series that you start, the series that you finish, and all of that kind of stuff. So, and I've started this year. I did a lot. I started a lot. I finished a lot. Some of them I didn't quite finish, but I hope to finish at some point. So yeah, those are kind of my update. That's kind of my hopes for next year. Planning to have some fun reading. Definitely getting into a little bit newer fiction, so I'm not just reading stuff that was written a long time ago. That's my video for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had a nice holiday. I hope you have some good reading goals for next year, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.